You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not lost. You're distracted. You don't need more motivation. You need mental armor. This isn't about hype. It's about rewiring your instincts. A warrior doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. You've been taught to chase comfort. I'm here to teach you to command chaos. In this audiobook, you'll learn how to think sharper, move calmer, and act with unshakable precision. No more overthinking. No more hesitation. This is where you train your mind to become unstoppable. Because real power starts up here. Chapter 1. Stop negotiating with weakness. Weakness doesn't leave politely. You have to evict it. You've been negotiating with it for years, giving it reasons, giving it time, giving it space. And every time you compromise, you lose a piece of your edge. You know that voice, the one that whispers, "You can skip it today," the one that says, "You've done enough." That voice doesn't care about your potential. It only cares about your comfort. But here's the truth. Comfort is a liar. It tells you you're fine when you're actually fading. It tells you you're resting when you're actually retreating. It tells you you're patient when you're actually paralyzed. You got to make a decision right now that you will no longer negotiate with weakness. You will no longer sit across the table from your excuses and pretend they have something valuable to say. They don't. Weakness doesn't respond to discussion. It only responds to discipline. And that's the key. Every time you compromise with weakness, you strengthen it. Every time you tolerate your own excuses, you train your mind to retreat when it should rise. You have a choice. Obey the voice that wants comfort or command the voice that demands growth. You don't need motivation. You need standards. Motivation fades. Standards don't. Motivation is emotion. Standards are identity. When you live by motivation, you move when it feels right. When you live by standards, you move because it's right. Stop waiting to feel ready. You won't. Stop waiting for the right mood, the right moment, the right energy. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline acts in spite of how you feel. That's what separates the warriors from the wanderers. Wanderers chase inspiration. Warriors live by instruction. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You need to act to feel inspired. And you already know this. You've seen it in your life. The days you didn't want to show up and did, those are the days that built you. The workouts you didn't want to start but finished. The projects you didn't want to tackle but completed. Those weren't fueled by motivation. Those were fueled by standards. You have to decide, are you driven by emotion or by execution? Because that decision determines your destiny. Weakness hides in negotiation. It sounds logical. It says, you deserve a break. It says, you worked hard yesterday. It says, you'll start again tomorrow. But every tomorrow you promise yourself becomes another graveyard for your goals. The problem isn't that you fail. The problem is that you negotiate failure into your schedule. You give weakness a microphone. You give it a reason. You give it respect. But weakness doesn't deserve your respect. It deserves your rejection. It's not about feeling lazy. It's about being disciplined. It's not about being tired. It's about keeping your word. It's not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. You have to learn to recognize that negotiation when it starts. When your mind says, maybe I'll skip it just this once. You answer, that's not who I am. That's the line. That's the standard. That's the code. You don't need motivation. You need standards. Real strength isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in the small, invisible moments, the ones no one sees. The alarm goes off, and you get up anyway. The task gets boring, and you keep going anyway. The progress is slow, and you persist anyway. That's where warriors are made, in micro decisions, small choices that stack. repetitions that compound, habits that forge identity. Weakness thrives on inconsistency. Discipline thrives on repetition. Every day you show up, you harden your mind. Every time you follow through, you sharpen your edge. It's not about being the strongest. It's about being the most consistent. Because consistency compounds into strength that can't be faked. Here's the truth that most people can't handle. You're not failing because you're broken. You're failing because you're comfortable. You've built a life designed to protect you from discomfort, and now you're suffocating inside it. You avoid challenge, so you avoid growth. You protect your ego, so you never test your potential. You chase balance, when what you really need is battle. You can't have mental toughness without friction. You can't develop focus without resistance. And you can't build confidence without confrontation with yourself. That's the training. Every day is a battle against that part of you that wants to coast. And every day you win that battle, you become someone harder to stop. You have a choice. Always, you can keep explaining why it's not the right time, or you can decide that now is the only time that matters. You can keep negotiating with weakness, or you can evict it for good. Here's how you do it. Number 1, identify the negotiation. When you hear your mind start to justify, I'll do it later, I'll start next week, it's not that big a deal. Stop. That's weakness. Try and get a word in. Number 2, cut off the conversation. Don't argue with it. Don't reason with it. Decide. Move. Act. That's the key. Fast action kills weak thoughts. Number 3, anchor your identity. Every time you keep your word to yourself, your confidence compounds. You're not just doing the thing. You're becoming the kind of person who always does the thing. And that identity is unshakable. You don't need motivation. You need standards. You don't need more time. You need more resolve. You don't need to talk yourself into greatness. You need to act your way into it. Here's what happens when you stop negotiating with weakness. Your confidence stabilizes. Your focus sharpens. Your energy multiplies. Because the energy you used to waste debating yourself now fuels your execution. You stop overthinking. You start moving. You stop hesitating. You start deciding. You stop doubting. You start doing. That's transformation. Not in theory, in behavior. You have a choice, and you always will. Remember this. Weakness doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about your comfort. And the moment you stop defending your comfort, you start defending your purpose. That's where power begins. Not in inspiration, not in confidence, in decision. You don't need motivation. You need standards. And once you raise those standards, once you decide that your word is law, everything in your life will rise to meet it. No more negotiation. No more excuses. No more waiting. Because the warrior's mind doesn't argue with weakness. It destroys it. You've built your strength. You've made your choice. Now you move forward. No discussion, no delay, no retreat. You've stopped negotiating with weakness. Now, it's time to understand what discipline really gives you. Not restriction, but freedom. Chapter 2. Discipline is the ultimate freedom. Discipline isn't restriction. It's control. Freedom without structure isn't freedom. It's chaos. You've been told that freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But that's not freedom. That's dependency. Dependency on moods, on impulses, on feelings. A warrior understands this. You can't be free if you can't control yourself. You can't lead others if you can't lead your own habits. You can't claim power if you can't command your own mind. You have a choice. You can live by emotion or you can live by code. That's the difference between chaos and control. That's the key. Discipline is the gatekeeper of freedom. Because freedom isn't something you're given. It's something you earn. Freedom without structure is just disguised weakness, a slow slide into disorder. But structure? That's what sharpens a blade. Freedom is earned through structure. Say again, freedom is earned through structure. The world will tell you that discipline is boring, that it's rigid, that it kills creativity, spontaneity, life. But that's a lie told by the undisciplined, the ones who confuse pleasure with peace. You've seen it. People chasing freedom end up trapped by their own habits. They sleep in, scroll for hours, overthink, overspend, overeat, overreact, all while claiming they're just living free. That's not freedom. That's addiction. That's what happens when you live without a code. Because when you lack structure, the world gives you one, and it's not built for your success. Social media becomes your schedule. Other people's opinions become your priorities. Your impulses become your leadership. And suddenly, you're no longer choosing your life. You're reacting to it. That's not control. That's captivity disguised as comfort. Discipline doesn't take your freedom. It gives it back to you. When you're disciplined, you decide when to rest. When you're disciplined, you decide when to work. When you're disciplined, you decide how you think, how you speak, how you move. That's power. And power is freedom. You don't need their permission. You don't need external validation. You don't need to wait for inspiration. You just need a code. Because a warrior doesn't live by moods. A warrior lives by mission. And your mission is to build control strong enough to contain your chaos. Freedom is earned through structure. Think about it. Every truly free person you admire, the athlete, the artist, the leader, has one thing in common: structure. They live by rhythm. They respect the clock. They hold themselves accountable when no one's watching. That's not luck. That's discipline. They don't chase freedom. They build it. They earn the right to relax by putting the work first. They earn the right to speak by mastering silence. They earn the right to lead by mastering themselves. That's the hidden truth most people never understand. Discipline creates peace. Because when your mind is organized, your life follows. No more chaos. No more wasted energy. No more mental clutter. Just clarity. Focus. Flow. Freedom isn't the absence of order. It's the product of it. Freedom is earned through structure. Let's be clear. Discipline is not punishment. It's not about beating yourself down. It's about building yourself up. Punishment comes from guilt. Discipline comes from purpose. You don't discipline yourself because you hate who you are. You discipline yourself because you know who you can become. That's the mindset shift. Stop looking at discipline as a cage. Start seeing it as armor. Armor protects you from distraction. Armor protects you from laziness. Armor protects you from self-sabotage. And when life hits, and it will, that armor is the only thing keeping you upright. You have a choice: armor up or stay exposed. Freedom is earned through structure. Here's how discipline works in practice. Step 1. Define your non-negotiables. What you always do, no matter how you feel. That's your foundation. That's your structure. Step 2. Follow through, especially when you don't feel like it. That's when discipline is tested. That's when character is forged. Step 3. Track it. Discipline dies in vagueness. It thrives in measurement. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be accountable. And when you slip, because you will, you don't explain. You don't defend. You decide. You get back up. You reinforce the code. It's not about being flawless. It's about being faithful to your standard. You have a choice. You always do. Freedom is earned through structure. The weak see discipline as sacrifice. The strong see it as strategy. When you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to direction. When you set boundaries, you're building power. When you control your impulses, you command your outcomes. That's the mindset of a warrior. Still, focused, unmoved. You want more freedom? Then tighten your standards. You want more creativity? Then master your schedule. You want more peace? Then enforce your boundaries. Because undisciplined freedom always collapses into chaos. And disciplined structure always expands into opportunity. Freedom is earned through structure. Most people will never understand this. They think they want freedom, but they actually crave consistency. They want peace, but they live in patterns that guarantee stress. They want control, but they hand it away with every excuse. They don't realize every moment of undisciplined comfort becomes a debt, and eventually the bill comes due, but not for you, not anymore. You're not here to coast. You're here to command. You're not here to react. You're here to respond. You're not here to follow. You're here to lead yourself first. That's the key. Discipline makes you ungovernable by your emotions. It gives you power over what most people surrender to. And once you master that, once you can move with order in a world of noise, you're untouchable. Freedom is earned through structure. So here's the challenge. Wake up tomorrow and move by principle, not preference. Decide your code tonight and live by it when the morning hits. Write it down. Repeat it until it becomes instinct, because your code is your compass. And when emotions fail, and they will, your code will hold the line. The world is full of people who can't control themselves. You don't have to be one of them. Be the one who stands calm in chaos. Be the one whose structure becomes strength. Be the one whose freedom is built, not begged for. You have a choice. You can keep chasing comfort, or you can claim control. Because the warrior doesn't ask for freedom. He earns it through structure, through consistency, through discipline. Freedom is earned through structure. That's the key. That's the path. That's the way. You've learned the foundation. That discipline isn't your restriction. It's your release. Now, it's time to explore the next weapon in your arsenal, the power of silence. You mastered your control. Now, let's talk about the psychology of presence. Chapter 3, Master the moment before you move. Most people act too fast. They speak too soon. They react before they think. And then they regret it. You know this truth. You've lived it. You've sent the message you shouldn't have. You've said the words that made it worse. You've acted on emotion instead of principle, and it cost you. Every regret you carry came from one thing: impulse over intention. That's the battlefield of mastery. The space between stimulus and response. The moment between what happens and what you do about it. That tiny space determines your strength. You have a choice. You can live as a reactor or rise as a ruler. You can keep letting emotion dictate your moves, or you can master the moment before you move. That's the key. Let's be clear. Mastery doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop following your feelings. The undisciplined mind believes the first thought it has. The warrior questions it. He pauses. He studies. He breathes. And only then, when the emotion is cooled and the purpose is clear, he acts. Because slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. The world will tell you that speed wins. They'll glorify the quick decision, the fast talk, the instant response. But the truth? Most people move fast because they're afraid. Afraid to look weak. Afraid to lose control. Afraid to be silent. But power isn't in speed. Power is in precision. The wise don't rush. The wise read. They read the situation. They read the energy. They read the room. And only then do they move. That's what separates reaction from response. That's what separates chaos from command. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Think about it. The archer doesn't shoot by flinching. He breathes. He steadies. He aims. He owns the moment before he lets go. The swordsman doesn't swing wild. He studies his opponent. He waits. He watches for the pattern. And when he strikes, it's clean, it's final, it's flawless. You can't win battles by rushing. You win them by reading. The modern battlefield isn't physical. It's psychological. Every day, you're being provoked. By people, by pressure, by problems. The undisciplined react. The trained wait. The calm mind builds momentum. The calm fighter dictates the fight. Because when everyone else moves too fast, you own the tempo. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Here's the truth most people never learn. Patience doesn't slow you down. Impatience does. Reaction doesn't make you powerful. It makes you predictable. The impulsive are easy to manipulate. You just push their buttons and they dance. But the composed can't be controlled. You want to be dangerous? Then master your timing. A dangerous man isn't a loud one. He's the one who waits. He's the one who smiles when others panic. He's the one who takes the punch and still sees the whole board. That's the discipline of patience. That's emotional dominance. You have a choice. You can act like a fire, fast, hot, uncontrollable. Or you can move like water, slow, steady, unstoppable. Because slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Let's talk about real life. You're at work. Someone disrespects you in a meeting. Your instinct? Snap back. Defend yourself. Prove your point. But mastery says no. Mastery says pause. Breathe. Study their tone. Study their motive. Study the moment. Ask yourself, do I need to prove something? Or do I need to protect my peace? 9 times out of 10, your ego wants to prove, but your higher self knows better. When you pause, you strip your enemy of control. When you react, you give it to them. So pause. Let the silence do the work. Let the other person reveal their weakness first. You don't need their permission. You don't need to win the moment. You need to win the war. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. In relationships, it's the same principle. You get a text that triggers you. Someone says something that stings. Your instinct? Fire back. But mastery means you wait. You breathe before you respond. You don't move until the emotion passes and the purpose appears. That's how you stop the cycle of conflict. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you reclaim your peace. Because power isn't just what you do. It's what you don't do. It's what you hold back. It's what you choose to ignore. You have a choice. Every second, every day, and every time you pause instead of react, you build control. Every time you breathe instead of break, you reinforce strength. Every time you master the moment before you move, you become the calm in chaos. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. So how do you train this discipline? It starts with awareness. When you feel triggered, stop. When your heart rate rises, breathe. When your mind races, slow it down. Count to 5. Control your breath. Remind yourself, I decide what happens next. That's it. That's the gap between weakness and wisdom. The tiny pause where power is built. Because control isn't a gift, it's a practice. You train it daily, in small moments, in micro reactions. You train it when someone cuts you off in traffic. You train it when you get bad news. You train it when your ego wants to explode. Every pause is a rep. Every breath is a rep. Every delay builds dominance. You're not avoiding life, you're mastering it. You're not suppressing emotion, you're channeling it. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Most people don't get this because they confuse movement with progress. They think being busy means being effective. They think reacting means leading. They think speed equals strength. It doesn't. The greatest warriors, thinkers, and leaders in history all share one trait: composure. They move only when it's time. They speak only when it matters. They strike only when the target is clear. They don't rush, they rule. And that's what you're training to become, a ruler, not a reactor. A person who owns a gap between impulse and execution. Because in that gap lives all your power. In that gap, you find the discipline that separates you from the crowd. In that gap, you become untouchable. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. So here's the mission. For the next week, practice the pause. Before you reply, before you move, before you react, breathe. Ask, is this movement coming from emotion or intention? If it's emotion, pause. If it's intention, proceed. You have a choice. And every time you choose stillness over reaction, you build control. Every time you choose clarity over chaos, you grow stronger. The gap is your training ground. That's where warriors are made. You mastered your reaction. You mastered your timing. Now, it's time to master your energy. Because the next level of control isn't just about when you move. It's about what you feed. You master the moment before you move. Now, let's talk about the hidden cost of emotional leakage. Chapter 4. Comfort is the enemy of strength. Comfort feels good. That's why it's dangerous. It whispers to you. It tells you, you've done enough. It tells you, you deserve a break. It tells you, you can ease up now. But comfort is a liar. It doesn't care about your future. It doesn't care about your goals. It only cares about keeping you exactly where you are. You have a choice, comfort or growth. You can't have both. Growth and comfort can't coexist. Choose one. That's the key. Everything strong is built through resistance. The body adapts through stress. The mind sharpens through struggle. The spirit strengthens through discomfort. That's not a cliche. That's biology. That's psychology. That's the truth. A muscle doesn't grow without tension. It tears. It burns. It rebuilds stronger. That's how strength works. And the mind operates the same way. When life stretches you, it's not punishing you, it's preparing you. When it hurts, you're being refined. Because pain refines. Comfort decays. Say it again, pain refines. Comfort decays. But most people can't handle that truth. They chase safety. They chase ease. They chase approval. And in the process, they lose their edge. They lose their hunger. They lose their fire. You've seen it. The person who once had drive now drifts. The person who once trained hard now complains. The person who once pushed limits now avoids friction. They traded progress for peace, and they paid for it with purpose. Because comfort doesn't just slow you down. It kills you slowly. It makes you soft. It makes you reactive. It makes you forget what you're capable of. That's what makes comfort the real enemy. It doesn't destroy you fast. It erodes you over time. Discomfort is your forge. That's where the fire lives. That's where identity is built. Every great warrior, thinker, and creator came from pressure. They didn't rise because life was easy. They rose because life demanded more, and they answered. The strong don't pray for comfort. They pray for challenge. Because challenge builds clarity. Pressure builds presence. And pain builds power. Pain refines. Comfort decays. Let me say this clearly. You are not supposed to feel good all the time. You're supposed to grow all the time. Stop chasing comfort like it's a reward. Start chasing discomfort like it's a teacher. That's the difference between amateurs and warriors. Amateurs want comfort now. Warriors want results later. You have to train your mind to crave the hard things. You have to build a relationship with discomfort, because the pain you resist will become the weakness that owns you, and the pain you embrace will become the strength that defines you. That's the key. Here's the truth. Your comfort zone is a cage. It's soft, it's warm, it's safe, but it's still a cage. Every time you step out of it, you expand your potential. Every time you stay in it, you shrink your power. The walls of your comfort zone don't keep danger out. They keep growth out. And when you stop growing, you start dying. You don't need motivation. You need standards. And your standards must demand discomfort. Wake up early. Train when you don't want to. Study when your mind resists. Have the hard conversation you've been avoiding. Say no when you'd rather say yes. Because every uncomfortable choice is a rep of discipline. And every rep of discipline is a deposit into your strength. Pain refines. Comfort decays. Let's get practical. How do you fight comfort? You start small. You start daily. Make discomfort a habit. Take the cold shower. Skip the unnecessary indulgence. Do the work even when you don't feel like it. The goal isn't to suffer. The goal is to stay sharp. Because a sharp blade cuts clean. But a dull blade bends, breaks, and rusts. Comfort dulls your edge. Discomfort keeps you dangerous. That's the key. When you feel resistance, it's not a signal to stop. It's a signal to start. When your mind says this is too much, that's when the growth begins. When your body says, I can't, that's when you're training your will. The discomfort isn't the obstacle, it's the opportunity. Pain refines. Comfort decays. You want to be respected? Be willing to do what others avoid. Be willing to stay when others quit. Be willing to suffer when others complain. That's how mental toughness is built. Through endurance, through consistency, through refusing to take the easy path. Because the easy path never leads anywhere worth going. It feels good now, but it costs you later. The hard path hurts now, but it pays you forever. You have a choice. You can trade temporary pain for permanent strength, or trade temporary comfort for permanent regret. Every day, that choice is yours. Pain refines. Comfort decays. Think about your greatest moments of pride. They didn't come from comfort. They came from struggle. They came from doing something you didn't think you could. They came from standing tall when it hurt to stand. That's proof that discomfort is the birthplace of pride, and comfort is the graveyard of potential. Every time you escape difficulty, you rob yourself of transformation. Every time you endure difficulty, you unlock a new level of yourself. That's how warriors are forged, one uncomfortable moment at a time. Pain refines. Comfort decays. So, here's your challenge. Audit your comfort. Look at your habits, your routines, your excuses. Ask yourself, where am I playing small because it's easy? Where am I avoiding pain that could make me powerful? Then attack that area. Intentionally, relentlessly, daily. Make discomfort your ally. Make resistance your guide. You don't need their permission to grow. You don't need comfort to succeed. You need courage and consistency, because comfort will offer you pleasure, but discomfort will offer you power. You have to decide what you want more. You've now faced the truth. Growth demands pain. You've accepted that comfort is your enemy, not your reward. So what comes next? You've built strength through discomfort. Now, you must protect that strength from distraction, because the next battle isn't physical. It's mental. It's about protecting your energy from everything that drains it. You mastered discomfort. Now it's time to master your focus. Chapter 5. Control the voice inside. The battlefield isn't out there. It's in here, inside your mind. That's where wars are won or lost. That's where strength is either built or broken. Your mind isn't your enemy. Your lack of control is. When you don't control your thoughts, they control you. When you don't direct your mind, it directs you. When you don't command your inner voice, it becomes your worst critic instead of your strongest ally. That's the key. Let's be honest. Most people lose a fight before it even begins. Not because they're weak, Not because they're incapable, but because they believe every thought that crosses their mind. They believe the doubt. They believe the fear. They believe the excuses. And when you believe every thought, you hand over the steering wheel. You are not your thoughts. You are your commander. That's the truth. That's the discipline. You talk to yourself more than anyone else ever will. Thousands of words a day, whispered inside your head. That voice is powerful. It sets your tone. It shapes your energy. It determines your momentum. But here's the problem. Most people let that voice run wild. Untrained, unchecked, undisciplined. They don't realize the voice can be programmed. It can be sharpened. It can be disciplined. That's the work. That's mental mastery. You have a choice. You can let the voice inside sabotage you, or you can train it to serve you. You can be a prisoner of your thoughts, or the commander of your mind. Understand this. Your mind will say things you didn't choose. That's normal. Thoughts appear without permission. You can't stop them from showing up, but you can stop them from taking command. That's the key. You don't need to silence the voice. You need to lead it. When your mind says, "I can't," you reply, "Prove it." When it says, "This is too hard," you say, "Good, then it's worth it." When it says, "What if I fail?" you say, "Then I'll learn." That's command. That's leadership over self. You are not your thoughts. You are your commander. Here's the truth. Your inner dialogue determines your outer destiny. If you speak weakness inside, you will live weakness outside. If you speak strength inside, you will embody it. The mind listens, always. So speak with intention. Speak with direction. Speak like a leader. When you wake up tired, the voice will test you. It'll whisper, 5 more minutes. You command it. No, we move now. When you feel insecure, the voice will question you. It'll say, "You're not good enough." You respond, "Watch me." When you're struggling, the voice will tempt you. It'll say, "Quit." You answer, "Not today." Every command strengthens your mind. Every correction builds control. That's how leaders are built. Not through motivation, but through mastery of the voice within. You are not your thoughts. You are your commander. Let's go deeper. The mind's job is to protect you, not progress you. It's wired for survival, not success. That's why it resists discomfort. That's why it screams when you take risks. It's not evil. It's instinct. But instincts need leadership. If you let your instincts run your life, you'll live small. If you lead your instincts, you'll live free. That's why mastery starts with the voice. It's not about silencing your mind. It's about disciplining it. You train your body through reps. You train your mind through repetition. Every time you reframe a negative thought, you're doing a rep. Every time you refuse to believe a lie your mind tells you, you're doing a rep. Every time you replace doubt with direction, you're doing a rep. That's how mental toughness is built. That's how warriors think. You have to decide which voice wins, because there are two inside you. There's the weak voice, the comfort seeker, the complainer, the victim. It wants ease. It wants approval. It wants to stay safe. And there's the strong voice, the commander, the leader, the disciplined one. It wants growth. It wants clarity. It wants victory. Which one do you feed? Because whichever one you feed, that's the one that grows. Every day, you cast a vote with your self-talk. Every thought you believe is a vote for weakness or strength. You don't need their permission to believe in yourself. You don't need external validation to feel capable. You just need command. That's the key. Let's make this practical. Start observing your thoughts. Don't just react to them. Watch them. Notice what your inner dialogue sounds like when you're under pressure. Does it panic? Does it blame? Does it fold? Then rewrite it manually, intentionally. When your inner voice spirals into chaos, interrupt it. Say out loud, "Stop. That's not my command." Then replace it with direction. Example, "I can't handle this" becomes, "I will handle this, one move at a time." "I'm not ready" becomes, "I'm becoming ready." "This is too much" becomes, "This is where I rise." Simple shifts, massive impact. That's how you reprogram your mind, one phrase at a time. You are not your thoughts. You are your commander. The weak talk to themselves like victims. The strong talk to themselves like leaders. A victim says, "Why me?" A leader says, "Try me." A victim says, "I can't." A leader says, "I will." A victim says, "It's not fair." A leader says, "It's my responsibility." You see the difference? It's not about arrogance. It's about authority. You have authority over your mind. Use it, because when you learn to command your inner world, your outer world follows. That's the secret to composure. That's the secret to clarity. That's the secret to power. The calmest mind always controls the chaos. You have a choice. Obey the voice that fears, or command the voice that leads. You have a choice. Let your thoughts dictate your life, or dictate your thoughts and design your life. That's mental mastery. That's self-discipline at its highest level. The mind will always speak, but the discipline decide what it means. You are not your thoughts. You are your commander. So here's the truth. Control starts inside. It's not about external order. It's about internal authority. You must lead yourself before you lead anything else. When you learn to control the voice inside, you stop reacting. You stop overthinking. You stop doubting. You start moving with clarity. You start speaking with certainty. You start living with intention. And that's when you become unshakable. You've trained your mind to listen to strength, not weakness. You've learned to command the voice inside. Now it's time to take that same control and apply it to your emotions, because mastering your thoughts is only half the battle. The next step is mastering your emotional energy. You've built command. Now build control. Chapter 6. Don't explain. Don't defend. Decide. Stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your choices. Stop justifying your path. Every time you do, you hand away your power. That's the truth. That's the discipline. Power means deciding, not discussing. Clarity doesn't need approval. Direction doesn't need permission. You don't owe them your words. You owe yourself your direction. That's the key. Most people live their lives trying to convince others to understand them, to like them, to approve of them. They think if they explain enough, defend enough, or approve enough, people will finally respect them. But here's the reality. The more you explain, the weaker you sound. The more you defend, the less they listen. The more you justify, the less they believe. Small minds don't understand big moves. And trying to explain yourself to small minds keeps you small. You have a choice. Shrink to fit their understanding, or stand tall in your conviction. You don't need their permission. You need your decision. Let's make something clear. Explaining is not the same as communicating. Communication is strategic. It's clarity with purpose. Explanation is insecurity disguised as logic. When you're constantly explaining yourself, what you're really saying is, "I need you to agree with me before I can move." But leaders don't wait for consensus. They move from conviction. They decide, and they live with the results. That's power. That's leadership. It's not about being rude. It's about being rooted. It's not about arrogance. It's about authority. You don't owe them your words. You owe yourself your direction. Let me tell you something about people. They'll question what they don't understand. They'll criticize what they can't do. And they'll resist what they can't control. If you spend your energy defending every decision, you'll never have energy left to execute it. Defending drains. Deciding empowers. You can't move forward when you're stuck, proving yourself backward. Every time you explain yourself to gain approval, you dilute your focus. Every time you defend your goals, you give them power over your mission. You have to stop explaining, stop defending, decide. Because indecision isn't confusion, it's fear of judgment. That's what kills momentum. That's what keeps most people average. You have to learn the art of quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't shout, the kind that doesn't need to convince, the kind that just moves. Quiet confidence doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It just acts. When you're truly clear, you stop talking about it. You stop explaining it. You start becoming it. You stop trying to make them understand your journey and start walking it regardless of their opinion. You don't owe them your words. You owe yourself your direction. Look at every great leader, every high performer, every person who's changed something. They were misunderstood. They were criticized. They were called arrogant, cold, distant, difficult. Because the world doesn't celebrate decision. It questions it. But that's the price of leadership. That's the price of clarity. You can't live by both approval and authority. You have to choose. Do you want to be liked or do you want to be respected? Do you want comfort or do you want control? You can't have both. And that's the moment everything changes. When you stop explaining who you are and start living like it. That's the moment your energy stops scattering and starts focusing. Because explanation is energy leakage. Decision is energy control. Let's talk about discipline, because this is where it gets real. Not defending yourself takes restraint. Not explaining takes control. It takes confidence in your purpose. When someone questions your path, your instinct is to explain. When they criticize your choices, your instinct is to defend. But those instincts come from insecurity, from the need to be seen as right, from the need to be liked. And that's the trap. When you defend your path too much, you stop walking it. So here's what I tell my clients. Learn to say less. Move more. You don't win arguments. You win through execution. You don't silence critics with words. You silence them with results. Every time someone doubts you, don't react. Decide. Move. Execute. That's how power operates. Through direction, not discussion. You don't owe them your words. You owe yourself your direction. Here's how you put this into practice. Step 1. Stop giving everyone access to your process. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone earns an update. Some people need to see the result, not hear the plan. Step 2. Master the pause. When someone challenges you, don't rush to explain. Pause. Breathe. Respond with clarity, not emotion. A calm, I understand, is more powerful than a 5-minute defense. Step 3. Train your mind to move without applause. You can't need validation and control your destiny at the same time. Every time you act without needing a reaction, you build power. That's the discipline. That's leadership in motion. Understand this. Silence is not weakness. It's precision. It's strategy. It's confidence. Silence says, I don't need you to understand. I know where I'm going. Silence says, my energy is reserved for my execution, not your evaluation. That's not ego, that's efficiency. Because the more you talk about your vision, the more you invite confusion. The more you defend your dream, the more you dilute it. Protect your direction with silence. Protect your focus with restraint. Protect your decisions with execution. You don't owe them your words. You owe yourself your direction. People who need constant validation never build real momentum because every move they make depends on approval. You can't go far if you need everyone to agree with your map. Decide where you're going. Commit. Go. That's what separates leaders from followers. Leaders decide first, and the world catches up later. The crowd waits to be told it's okay. The commander doesn't wait, he moves. You have a choice. Keep explaining your mission to people who can't see it, or stay silent and let results speak louder. Choose silence. Choose clarity. Choose decision. That's the key. You want to know what freedom really is? It's not money. It's not status. It's not comfort. It's being able to move without needing permission. It's being able to decide without needing applause. It's being able to stay rooted in your direction no matter who questions it. That's freedom. That's discipline. That's power. So stop explaining yourself. Stop defending what doesn't need defending. Stop trying to be understood by those who haven't earned the right to understand you. You are not here to convince. You are here to command. You are not here to seek permission. You are here to make decisions. You are not here to be liked. You are here to lead. You don't owe them your words. You owe yourself your direction. You've learned to stop chasing approval. You've learned to decide without defending. Now it's time to take that same energy and channel into action that speaks louder than any argument ever could. Because words fade, but results echo. You stopped explaining. Now it's time to execute. Chapter 7. Pressure reveals the real you. Pressure doesn't destroy you. It exposes you. It reveals who you really are when the comfort's gone, when the plan collapses, when no one's watching. Stress isn't punishment. It's truth. It's life's way of stripping away your excuses and showing you what's real. When everything's smooth, anyone can look composed. When it all falls apart, that's when your real training shows. Pressure reveals your preparation. Pressure exposes your habits. Pressure uncovers your discipline. You were built for this. That's the key. Most people break under pressure not because they're weak, but because they were never honest with themselves when it was easy. They coasted when they should have trained. They relaxed when they should have built. They waited for motivation instead of developing consistency. Then life hits. The storm comes, and they crumble. But not you, not anymore, because you're learning to see pressure differently. You're learning to use it. You don't run from stress. You absorb it, you refine it, you convert it into focus. That's mental toughness. That's emotional control. That's warrior discipline. You were built for this. Pressure is a test, but not the kind you think. It's not testing what you say you can do. It's testing what you've trained to do. Everyone talks about strength when they're rested. Everyone preaches confidence when they're winning. But the minute adversity arrives, panic shows up. Why? Because they've confused comfort with control. Real control is calm under chaos. Real mastery is steady under strain. You have to earn that calm through repetition, not inspiration. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. That's why you train when no one's watching. That's why you prepare when you don't feel like it. That's why you hold yourself to a standard even when it's inconvenient. Because when pressure comes, you won't have time to think. You'll act on instinct. And instinct is built in the discipline of preparation. You were built for this. Let's make this real. Pressure at work. Pressure in relationships. Pressure in your goals. It's all the same. Pressure exposes your habits. When you're stressed, do you slow down or spiral? Do you breathe or do you break? Do you refocus or do you react? Every pressure point reveals what's inside you. If chaos makes you crumble, it's not the chaos. It's your conditioning. That's the truth most people avoid. They blame the environment instead of their preparation. It's too hard. It's too much. No one understands. Excuses. It's not about the pressure. It's about the discipline. Because discipline keeps you stable when emotion wants to take over. Discipline keeps you composed when chaos wants to consume you. Discipline keeps you focused when fear whispers, quit. You were built for this. Pressure is the gym for your spirit. Every rep of stress is an opportunity to grow. Every challenge is a set for your strength. You don't get stronger avoiding the weight. You get stronger lifting it. Pressure builds capacity. It expands what you can handle. That's how warriors are made, not in calm, but in conflict. When everything goes wrong and you still move forward, that's strength. When you feel fear and act anyway, that's courage. When the plan fails and you stay composed, that's mastery. You have to learn to breathe inside the fire, to see pressure not as punishment, but as proof that you're capable of more. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's your invitation to level up. You were built for this. Here's the secret. Pressure only crushes what's hollow. If your discipline is fake, pressure will expose it. If your confidence is borrowed, pressure will break it. If your focus is shallow, pressure will shatter it. But if your foundation is real, if it's built on truth, training, and self-control, then pressure can't break you. It can only sharpen you. You have to decide what you'll be when the storm hits, the person who panics or the person who performs. That's the choice every day. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs react. Professionals regulate. Amateurs get emotional. Professionals get focused. That's the discipline. That's the standard. You don't need calm conditions to stay composed. You need inner command. You were built for this. So how do you master pressure? You train for it daily. Step 1. Create controlled discomfort. Do hard things on purpose. Cold showers. Early mornings. Tough conversations. Not because they're glamorous, but because they condition your nervous system to handle intensity. You don't grow in comfort. You grow in challenge. Step 2. Breathe before you react. When stress hits, don't let your body run wild. Your breath is your anchor. Slow down your breathing, and your mind will follow. Inhale strength. Exhale panic. It's simple but powerful. Step 3. Focus on execution, not emotion. Pressure loves distraction. It wants you scattered, impulsive, afraid. But when you narrow your focus to what must be done right now, pressure loses its grip. Control the controllables. That's the key. And remember, everyone feels pressure, even the strongest, even the calmest. The difference isn't in the feeling, it's in the response. When pressure rises, weak people panic. Strong people prepare. They don't get emotional, they get efficient. They understand something most never will. The bigger your mission, the heavier the weight you must carry. Pressure doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're growing. It means the stakes are rising. It means your capacity is being tested. So don't pray for less pressure. Pray for stronger shoulders. You were built for this. Pressure reveals who you are, but also gives you the chance to redefine it. You can choose to fold, or you can choose to forge. You can choose to panic, or you can choose to perform. You can choose to let stress break you, or you can use it to build a version of yourself that nothing can shake. You have a choice. Always. Every challenge is a mirror. It shows you what's untrained, what's undisciplined, what's still emotional. Don't resent that reflection. Use it. Pressure is not your punishment. It's your invitation. It's your test. It's your teacher. And when you can stand calmly in the middle of the storm, you'll finally understand. It was never about escaping pressure. It was about mastering yourself under it. You were built for this. You've learned how to stay composed when life pushes back. You've learned that pressure doesn't break you. It reveals you. Now it's time to take that composure and build something even rarer. Inner stillness. Because true strength isn't loud. It's silent. Chapter 8. Patience is the ultimate provocation. Patience. The word sounds soft, but in reality, it's one of the sharpest weapons you can carry. In a world addicted to reaction, patience is rebellion. In a culture obsessed with speed, patience is control. You have to understand this. When you don't react, you become dangerous. Because silence forces people to face themselves. Stillness exposes what's unstable around you. And waiting, real, strategic waiting disarms chaos. You have a choice. You can react like everyone else, or you can hold your ground and let the storm waste its energy. That's the key. When you don't react, others reveal themselves. Watch closely the next time someone tries to provoke you. They'll throw words like bait. They'll test your emotions, your ego, your need to prove something. If you bite, you give them control. If you stay still, you take it back. Most people don't understand this power because they're too impatient to hold it. They think reacting fast means they're strong. They think having the last word means they've won. But warriors know better. Warriors understand that control doesn't come from reaction. It comes from restraint. You don't win by shouting louder. You win by waiting longer. That's the strategy. That's the discipline. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing only what matters. It's precision over impulse. It's chess, not checkers. Every time you wait, you gather data. You observe patterns. You learn what triggers people, what drives them, what breaks their focus. When you stay calm, the impatient destroy themselves. They expose their weaknesses, their fears, their blind spots, all because they can't stand your silence. And that's the beauty of patience. It turns time into your ally, while they burn energy proving something. You can serve yours preparing for the right moment. Wait longer. See deeper. Strike smarter. That's how you win. But let's get practical. Patience isn't passive. It's active control of emotion. It's the skill of managing your nervous system under stress. When your heart's racing, when adrenaline spikes, when every cell screams react. You breathe, you pause, you observe, you decide consciously, not impulsively. That pause is your power. That breath is your strategy. That stillness is your strength. You don't need their permission to wait. You don't need validation for your silence. Because your restraint isn't weakness, it's dominance. Every fool can react. Few can endure. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. That's the difference between the crowd and the commander. Most people are terrified of waiting. They confuse movement with progress. They think patience means falling behind. But warriors know timing is everything. You can't force results. You can't rush mastery. You can't accelerate wisdom. You can only prepare, persist, and position yourself until the right opportunity arrives. Patience doesn't delay your success. It protects it, because impulsive people build quickly and collapse instantly. Disciplined people build slowly and stand forever. So when you're waiting, don't call it stagnation. Call it strategy. You're building stability while everyone else is burning fuel. You're sharpening your blade while they're swinging dull ones. You're mastering the game while they're losing their composure. Wait longer. See deeper. Strike smarter. That's how you stay undefeated. Understand this. Patience provokes chaos. Stillness makes insecure people unravel. Your silence frustrates the impulsive. Your calm enrages the emotional because they can't control what doesn't react. They'll call you cold. They'll call you distant. They'll call you arrogant. Let them. Their words are flares in the dark, desperate signals for attention. You don't chase noise. You don't explain your peace. You don't abandon your composure to comfort their chaos. You stand firm. You breathe slow. You watch them reveal themselves. Because when everyone else is losing their heads, The one who stays calm becomes a leader by default. That's the secret most never learn. The quietest mind in the room holds the most power. Patience is emotional jiu-jitsu. You use the opponent's force against them. When someone attacks in anger, let them waste that energy. Let them push until they're off balance. Then, with one calm move, you redirect the momentum. You don't match force with force. You absorb, deflect, and decide. That's not weakness. That's mastery. Patience is not passive. It's controlled aggression. It's knowing exactly when to act and when to hold. It's not the lion that roars the loudest that's dangerous. It's the one that waits, silent, focused, poised to strike. You're that lion. You're that stillness in the chaos. You're that calm before the storm. And when you move, it means something. Wait longer. See deeper. Strike smarter. That's how warriors move. Let's make this real. Patience isn't just for conflict. It's for everything. It's how you build a body. It's how you master skill. It's how you transform your life. Growth takes time, but most people quit too early because they confuse speed with progress. They want the body after one workout, the result after one effort, the transformation after one season. That's not how mastery works. You have to outweight your own doubts. You have to outlast your own emotions. You have to endure long enough to earn the result. That's the real test. Not can you start, but can you stay? Can you stay steady when the results are invisible? Can you stay committed when no one's watching? Can you keep showing up when it feels like nothing's working? Because that's patience in its purest form. Persistence under silence. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting, but it's unstoppable. You have a choice. You can chase speed, or you can build strength. You can demand results, or you can earn them. Wait longer. See deeper. Strike smarter. That's the path of the warrior. Remember this truth. Time doesn't defeat you. It refines you. Pressure doesn't destroy you. It defines you. And patience doesn't slow you. It saves you. Because the moment you stop reacting, you start ruling. The moment you master waiting, you master the game. The moment you stop chasing, everything meant for you begins to come toward you. Stillness isn't weakness, it's control. Waiting isn't delay, it's design. That's the secret. That's the discipline. That's the weapon. Wait longer. See deeper. Strike smarter. You have nothing to prove, only ground to hold. You don't need to rush. You don't need to beg. You don't need to break your peace to please impatience. You are the calm. You are the storm. You are the stillness that commands chaos. You've learned how to control your reaction, how to wait with power, how to let others reveal themselves while you remain composed. Now, it's time to go deeper, to take that composure and transform it into authority. Because warriors don't just survive storms, they command them. You've mastered patience. Now it's time to master control. Chapter 9. The master of peace controls the war. Power isn't loud, it's unbothered. That's the truth most people never learn. They think control looks like shouting. They think dominance looks like chaos. They think leadership means force. But the truth? The calmest mind wins every conflict. The stillest presence dominates every room. You stop chasing control when you become control. When everything around you is noise, composure becomes a weapon. When everyone's panicking, your peace becomes power. When others lose themselves, you stay rooted. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous. You have a choice, react to chaos, or rise above it. And the one who rises above it always wins. That's the key. The greatest warriors in history weren't the loudest. They weren't the ones screaming orders or flexing power. They were the ones who could see through the fog of battle and think clearly. When panic takes over, logic dies. When emotion runs wild, strategy collapses. But when you stay calm, truly calm, You see everything. You see openings. You see weakness. You see the truth. And that's what makes you unstoppable. Power isn't about proving. It's about presence. It's not about domination. It's about direction. It's not about emotion. It's about execution. You don't need to control people. You need to control yourself. Because when you control yourself, everything else follows. That's the discipline of command, mastery of the inner before mastery of the outer. You have to train your emotions the way a warrior trains his weapon. You have to sharpen calmness until it cuts through chaos. That's how you win without fighting. That's how you command without speaking. Power isn't loud, it's unbothered. Let me be clear. You can't lead anything if you can't lead your mind. Every battle, personal or professional, is won inside you before it's won outside you. You lose control internally. You lose everything externally. You keep control internally, and no one can take your power. So the question is, who's in control when things go wrong? Your emotions or your mission? When someone disrespects you, do you react or do you assess? When the plan collapses, do you panic or do you adapt? When life throws a hit, do you break or do you breathe? That's the real test of strength. That's the test of mastery. You don't need their permission to stay composed. You don't need approval to be calm. You just need discipline. It's not about pride. It's about purpose. That's the difference between ego and mastery. Here's the truth. Emotional control is the highest form of dominance. Anyone can flex their body. Few can flex their mind. Anyone can react. Few can stay composed under fire. You can't control every situation, but you can control your energy in every situation. That's real power. Because when you stay centered, you change the temperature of the entire environment. When you stay grounded, you force others to match your energy or expose their instability. You become the calm inside the storm. You become the gravity that pulls everything into order. And that's how leaders emerge, not from noise, but from stillness. Power isn't loud, it's unbothered. Understand this. The world will constantly test your peace. People will push you to react. Situations will bait your emotions. Pressure will tempt you to lose focus. That's the battlefield. But remember, the moment you react emotionally, you hand over control. You hand your enemy the steering wheel. And once you give it away, it's hard to get it back. So stop letting the world dictate your mood. Stop letting people pull you into their storms. Stop letting chaos decide how you show up. You decide your energy. You decide your tone. You decide your pace. You have a choice. You can be controlled or you can be composed. That's the key. When you are unbothered, you are unreadable. And when you are unreadable, you are unbeatable. Your composure confuses the impulsive. Your calmness frustrates the insecure. Your silence unnerves the loud. Because they can't predict what they can't provoke. That's how real warriors move. Silent, stable, strategic. They don't waste energy explaining. They don't argue to prove. They observe, calculate, and act when the timing is right. That's the mark of mastery. You don't rush your moves. You refine them. You don't chase attention. You attract it. You don't need to look powerful. You are powerful. Because power isn't loud, it's unbothered. Let's talk about how to build this kind of peace. It's not given, it's trained. Every morning, you train it by choosing not to react. When someone cuts you off, you breathe. When someone insults you, you observe. When life disappoints you, you focus. That's how you rewire control. Through repetition of calm and chaos, you stop needing peace from circumstances. You start generating peace from discipline. It's not about meditation apps or quiet rooms. It's about self-command in motion, calmness under fire. You can't just practice peace when life is easy. You master peace when everything's on fire and you don't flinch. That's how you harden the mind. That's how you build unshakable confidence. Power isn't loud, it's unbothered. You want to lead? You want to influence? You want to win? Then stop trying to control everything and start becoming control itself. Stop chasing power. Start embodying it, because real authority doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you radiate. When you walk in peace, people feel it. When you stay composed, people follow it. When you master stillness, chaos bows to it. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to prove every point. You don't need to match every challenge with noise. You simply need to remain unmoved. The storm will pass. The noise will fade. And the one who stayed calm will still be standing. That's the warrior's truth. That's the leader's edge. That's your new standard. Power isn't loud, it's unbothered. You've learned how to control pressure, how to wield patience, and now, how to master peace. You understand that true dominance comes not from chaos, but from composure. When you stop chasing control and become it, everything changes. Now, it's time to channel that peace into presence, to use calmness not just to survive, but to command, because power doesn't just stay still. It moves with intention. You've mastered peace. Now let's master presence. Chapter 10. Build an identity that can't be broken. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. That's the truth most people never face. When life hits, you don't become stronger on the spot. You become what you've been building, day after day, rep after rep, decision after decision. You don't break in the moment of impact. You break in the months you spent unprepared. You don't fail because the world was too hard. You fail because you weren't disciplined enough. That's the key. Your identity is your armor. Your habits are the plates that hold it together. Your principles are the bolts that keep it from cracking under pressure. You can't fake strength. You can't pretend discipline. You can't act calm under pressure if you've never practiced calm under pressure. When the moment comes, and it will come, the truth will be revealed. Pressure always exposes what's real. The weak pretend. The strong prepare. You have a choice. You can keep talking about who you want to be, or you can start training to become that person. Because when everything falls apart, you don't rise. You fall to your level of training. Let me be clear. Your identity isn't what you say. It's what you repeat. It's not built through motivation. It's built through movement. Every morning you wake up early. That's identity. Every time you control your temper, that's identity. Every time you do what's right when no one's watching, that's identity. You're not training your body. You're training your standard. Because in the end, your standard will protect you when emotion fails. That's what separates the disciplined from the drifters. The drifter hopes to rise when life gets hard. The disciplined one trains to never fall. You don't need talent to build an unbreakable identity. You need structure. You need habits that hold the line when your mind wants to quit. It's not about motivation, it's about mechanics. It's not about emotion, it's about repetition. Every system you create becomes part of your armor. Every ritual you honor becomes a layer of protection. You are building a fortress, brick by brick, choice by choice. And the walls are made of consistency. The moment you stop building, the cracks begin to form. The moment you get comfortable, the decay begins. Comfort is corrosion. Discipline is reinforcement. That's how you build a life that doesn't crumble when storms come. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. Think of identity like a blueprint. Your actions are the architecture. Your consistency is the foundation. If the foundation is weak, the structure won't stand. If the foundation is disciplined, nothing can move it. You want to know why you feel lost sometimes? Because you keep rebuilding your foundation every week. You start something, quit, start again, and wonder why nothing feels solid. The truth is simple. You can't build confidence without consistency. You can't build identity without endurance. Your habits must outlast your emotions. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel motivated, but you can always choose discipline. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs train when it's easy. Professionals train until it's automatic. You have a choice. You can keep searching for inspiration, or you can start building repetition. That's the key. You have to treat your habits like armor maintenance. If you stop cleaning it, it rusts. If you stop wearing it, it weakens. If you stop respecting it, it breaks. And once it breaks, it doesn't matter how strong you were. The cracks will spread. That's why you can't take days off from being who you are. You don't pause discipline. You don't rest from integrity. You don't switch off focus. Because identity isn't a mood, it's a mission. You're not training for approval. You're training for endurance. You're not training to look strong. You're training to stay strong. That's the difference between the ones who last and the ones who fade. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. You want to become unbreakable? Then stop identifying with weakness. Stop saying, I'm just not that consistent. Stop saying, that's just who I am. Stop giving your flaws a name tag. That's not identity. That's excuse. Every time you accept a limitation, you strengthen it. Every time you reinforce weakness with words, you give it roots. Change how you speak about yourself. Talk like someone who trains, not someone who tries. Talk like someone who's building, not someone who's hoping. You don't need their permission to change. You don't need anyone's approval to improve. You just need to decide, and then repeat that decision every single day. Identity isn't found. It's forged. That's the key. Here's your mission. Define your principles, then defend them with action. What are the 3 standards you refuse to break? What are the 3 habits you'll keep no matter how you feel? Write them down. Live by them. Protect them. That's your armor. That's your identity. You're not building a mask. You're building a foundation. And foundations don't need validation. When life hits, you'll fall, but you'll fall onto solid ground. You'll fall onto discipline. You'll fall onto training. And you'll rise again because you built yourself to. That's the secret. Not talent. Not luck. Training. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. Let me remind you, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is endurance. Because identity isn't proven by how you act when you're winning. It's proven by how you act when you're tired, when you're hurt, when you're doubting yourself, and you still move forward anyway. That's what makes you unbreakable. The body adapts through stress. The mind adapts through struggle. And identity is forged through repetition. Pain refines. Comfort decays. Every challenge you face is shaping the steel of your character. Every day you show up is another layer added to your armor. And when you finally look back, you'll realize you didn't just survive. You became unstoppable. You didn't rise to the occasion. You fell to your level of training. And your training carried you through. You've built your identity. You've built your armor. You've learned to endure. Now it's time to protect what you built by controlling what you allow into your space. Because every strong identity needs boundaries. Every fortress needs gates. You can't protect your peace if you let everything in. You build an identity that can't be broken. Now, let's make sure nothing gets inside to break it from within. Conclusion: you've heard the truth. You've learned the code. Now it's on you to live it. No one's coming to rescue you. No one's going to build your discipline for you. This is your war, internal, relentless, daily. The world won't respect what you say. It will respect what you repeat. You have a choice. Keep breaking promises to yourself, or become the kind of person who never does. Remember, discipline isn't punishment, it's power. Patience isn't passivity, it's precision. Peace isn't softness, it's strength under control. So train your mind like a warrior. Wake up with purpose. Move with calm. Act with conviction. And when life tests you, smile. Because you train for this. You don't need their permission. You don't need their praise. You just need to decide. Because once your mind becomes unshakable, everything else bows to your will.